Hello, my friends. It's time again for our monthly predictions. This time, the month of October, where we just take a little peek on some of the themes, some of the reflections, some of the things that you should look out for in the month of October that can be beneficial to your higher purpose, to your goals, to your dreams. We have our pick a card piles here. Pile 1, we have some morganite. Pile 2, we have the beautiful jade. And pile 3, we have lovely garnet. So we're also going to pick an animal as the theme for each pile. What animal has some medicine and some guidance for you? And maybe that'll help you pick what pile or piles that you want to tune into. So here we go. So for pile 1, we're going to be looking at crow medicine. For pile 2, we have blue heron medicine. And for pile 3, we have moose medicine. So we'll go into all of this in our individual piles. Feel free to choose just what you're drawn to, pick them at random. When I do these readings, I always have it in mind that they're little individual bites of a bigger reading. So I hope that you can enjoy putting them on while you do some work on the computer or doing some laundry, see what insights you can pick up while just living your daily life. But if you're here for one and done, that's totally cool. I'm just happy that you're here, my friend. So I will see you in the individual piles. Bye for now. Hello, Crow Tribe. Welcome to your reading. Let's start by taking a nice deep breath. Clearing the energy, connecting to your heart as we come together in community and within ourselves to reflect and take a peek at what's coming. All right, I'm going to read to you a little bit about crow, and then we'll talk, and then we'll pull some cards. So here we go. Crow, you are cawing so that I may know the secrets of balance within my soul. Or are you sending your caw just to remind me of universal law? Crow is an omen of change. Crow lives in the void and has no sense of time. The ancient chiefs tell us crow sees simultaneously the three fates, past, present, and future. You must put aside your fear of being a voice in the wilderness and caw the shots as you see them. As you learn to allow your personal integrity to be your guide, your sense of feeling alone will vanish, and your personal will can emerge so that you will stand in your truth. Crow people are mindful always of their opinions and of others. So there's change coming, right? And you have felt this change coming probably for many months, probably, I would say, this entire year. And you could be at a place where it's very uncomfortable to be pushing through. Perhaps you have different opinions, different perspectives. You want to share a different vision that you have with the world. I think in October, you're going to be asked to step into a place of taking a bit of risk in allowing this change to be, into surrendering what is and leaving behind what has been. You can come to crow throughout the entire month. Maybe you'll be seeing crows, pictures of crows. A crow will pass your way. But you can always come back to the medicine of crow as a support and a guide for the entire month of October. Let's see what other themes might be popping up for you. Abundance. And if you step into this change, there is abundance waiting on the other side. So whatever You have to look at it this way. If you've created abundance in your life in any capacity, you can do it again. Just because things are changing doesn't mean that you're letting go of stability or security. You're taking with you everything that you've already built. You just want it to transform into something that's more in your personal integrity, that allows you to speak in your own personal truth more now. The Ace of Pentacles, and this is more about creating abundance. I think in October, you will be given some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, some sort of evidence, some sort of physical, tangible evidence that makes you feel like, okay, this might be a small bit of evidence, but it's still evidence and it counts nonetheless. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine just last night about something similar to this and the idea of trust. And to her and to I, we were talking about how trust sometimes can only mean, okay, what have I gotten to show for it? Or there's so little faith. So Crow asks you to take a leap of faith in your own integrity. Perhaps you have to leave something behind because it simply doesn't work for you anymore, or the people, the environment, the person that you're with isn't really on your vibe anymore. And it's about creating structure with the Hierophant. What is the structure that this change requires? Because it's easy to lack trust in ourselves. We can always give so much support to the other people around us, but there's something we can't really trust ourselves. We can't trust, yeah, I can make this leap. I can make this change. The change is already upon you. You've been creating it for a while now. And it's just this really, yeah, I'm really going to jump off the cliff of it. But what makes it less scary, what makes it more tangible, what kind of brings in that little grain of kind of some sort of evidence is creating a structure for yourself. So what does it look like if you're creating a new business? What is the structure of that business? Perhaps it's different from what you've done in the past. Maybe you've had lack of structure in your life. And sometimes it can feel like as we create these new structures, what has been attracting, what we have been attracting falls away. We don't get those accounts anymore. We're not dating those kind of people anymore. And it's because you've made a choice that this changes what you want. It's clear because you're already in it. And it can be an uncomfortable place to already be in the midst of change. But you're not really quite embracing it 100% because of those fears. So what is it that you need to really trust yourself, to have faith? There actually is a lot of trust in letting go to the unknown, because within the unknown there are limitless possibilities. And it can feel scary to jump into the unknown or be in the unknown or to be in the dark or to simply not know what the outcome is going to be. But if you can switch your perspective around and really begin to marinate in the thought of the nothing and the emptiness of the void. Crow lives in the void of the past, the present, and future. There is something that you know is coming upon you. You know what you can create. You know what you can do. Perhaps this is something that you've come around in your life to before. Like you've always had this idea of this relationship or this job or this new way of living. This could be a whole new way of living that encompasses new work, new relationship. But you haven't quite stepped into it because you're too busy keeping what's going. This is working and it's going. And I'll make this change some other time. I'll jump into it. I'll fully embrace it. because I don't want to lose my safety and stability. But are you really safe and stable in it? At the core of it, is it really personal freedom? Or is it keeping you stuck? So what are some of the structures? And what my friend and I were talking about last night was, as she was talking about all the little things that she's implementing for her new business, that is evidence. Okay, the financial isn't there yet. Maybe the person isn't there yet. But every day you're doing something and you've committed to that. This is a card also of commitment with the Hierophant. You're committing to yourself. So what new structures do you need to bring in? And it can be sometimes very obvious. Like, I always known that I should have done this, but didn't. Because again, when things are working as they are, but you're bored. And I think the month of October is asking you to examine how you're bored. And are you really thriving? Is this something that is are you in something currently that really is going to thrive in the next evolution of who you are? In your next life's mission? That's what we're talking about here, stepping into your next life's mission. And it might take a bit of pondering. It might take a moment. But you sit down, you write some things out, you talk to some friends, you get ideas. Because with the Magician, this is a dark magician. There are two ways to look at the Magician. And one is you have everything that you need. The dark side of the Magician is that sort of like trickster energy. And so are you tricking yourself into believing that you can't fully embrace this change? That you can't, it's really about speaking your personal truth and having that integrity with yourself first and grounding that in so that you feel comfortable expressing it to other people. With this Magician here in the dark, it feels like in that dark, isolated place. Like it can feel very lonely when things begin to fall away. You might have noticed that already. You haven't been fully embracing the change, but you're not who you were because of the healing, because of the personal growth process, because of all the work you've done, all the creating you've done, all the shadow work that you've done. And so things fall away, and they have to make room. See, this particular Magician right here with the pentacle right there at the heart. So it's following your heart. What does your heart want to do? What does your heart know you can do that your brain doesn't? What does your brain need to be convinced about that your heart knows you can do, no matter how ridiculous it might be? I was reading this quote today, and the founder of Google, and it was like, all new ideas are crazy until they're good, or something like that. Whatever it is, if someone has said to you, oh, you've been saying for years you're going to do that, and you never do, put them aside. Usually when people say these things, there's something about their own self-confidence, or they're going through their own stuff. They're not doing something that they really want to do. They feel stuck. There comes a time to put your feet on the new path, and you might be the only one on it for a minute or two. And then you find your tribe. Then you find others. Then new people come in. And it will be different. So it may be uncomfortable, because they might be speaking a different language than you're used to. But isn't that the language that part of you already speaks already? Isn't that the language you want to talk? This one's flipping. Five of Swords. I really feel like this is these little petty arguments with yourself. This is fighting yourself. This also is the walking away. I see you here in this card. It's, you know what you're saying to this person, this environment, you take it. You take it. I don't want it. You want it? You want it so badly, you're going to do all this crap. Just take your personal bullshit and I give it back to you. And death. Change, death, transformation. You fought a really hard battle, perhaps internally, for your own wholeness. To stay whole, perhaps you've picked up the fragments of yourself, put yourself back together, but in the way that you want to be now, in a stronger way. So here's, see, the sort of like Pope figure, which reminds me here of this Hierophant. So it's the end of an old structure. And yes, keep what you want to that works. It's not about throwing it all away. But what structures are surrendering themselves? What structures are like, I don't work anymore. I can't do this. I've got no more bandwidth for this. I have no more energy for this old way. I'm going to grieve it. I'm going to let go. And I'm going to slowly start to build to the new structure and walk very deeply and proudly and courageously into the new transformation. Wow. That's your October. Just that little bit, you know. Transformation. October is wonderful for transformation. The cycle of the fall in and of itself is about death. It's about after everything has expanded in the summer and the blooming and that feeling of liberation. And now everything begins to fall away. What doesn't work anymore? Again, what did you identify your freedom with that wasn't actually freedom? And structure can sometimes get a bad rap because it's like, oh, I'm boxed in. But not if you create what works for you. Structure allows you to really get things done. It allows the creation process to anchor itself, to root itself into the earth so that it actually can grow. You can't grow. If this is a process that, you know, of going into the fall, like the fall, it is falling off. Next goes the winter, the gestation, the womb, the nurturing that it needs to build, to become. And then in the spring, the cycle is of rebirth. And so you might be going into a process now where between now and March, April, May, something will really begin to take a little bit more shape. But look for the little bits of evidence. Again, with the financial thing is coming up. Sometimes you don't get the financial thing right away that you need. And I'm not saying to do anything that's going to put you in a bad place. Make sure that you've got what you need for food, for your bills. But there also is a little bit of a sacrifice on what was. A little bit of compromise with yourself. Okay, I'm really going to sit down and do this. And it's hard. It can be really hard. There could be lack of focus. So get support. Like, what support? Are there people that are doing this? Mentors, friends? How can you support yourself? Getting proper sleep, finding supplements, herbs, feeding yourself properly, not being around negative people. Look, you can have a friend and maybe they're not on your vibe and they're a good person, but you don't want to have certain conversations with certain people that are going to bring you down, that are going to take you out of that heart space that your heart knows. Your heart knows, you follow your heart. Your brain is just going to work. Your brain's not going to stop working. It's going to do its job. And you give yourself some structure and it will just be in flow. I'm going to grab a little trashy love oracle here. We're going to do a little love bite. So how does this pertain specifically to love, romance, someone on your mind? What's going on with that? abundance, and it's more abundance. So keeping that mindset, that new mindset. You know, something about the word positive mindset. It's so easy to say it. But it can be, you know, when you're in kind of the throes of all this change, the last thing you really is like, oh, just be positive. It's more about keeping yourself grounded and know what you want to manifest and getting clear and focused. And I'm telling you that the structure will really help you. And the same thing goes for romance. I think there's been a tremendous change, whether you've had a breakup recently, you've left someone behind, maybe you feel like you've been left behind, but there's newness coming. There are more offers, and again, they might look different. I really feel like with the Hierophant coming in that there can be commitment with a new type of person, offering you something that is a little bit more structured. Where you can feel comfortable and safe, that it can grow and expand because it's more rooted. So you might be meeting somebody in this October, towards the end of the year, beginning of the year. That's what I'm feeling. Something that, when rooted, it will expand as you go into the year, into the new year, into 2025. But have your voice, have your own personal integrity. If someone's just not communicating with you the way you want to be communicated with, if you don't feel like you can say something, I challenge you, if someone is communicating, speak up about it. It can be really easy to be like, oh, I'm not going to say anything, whatever, it's not working. The worst that can happen is that they say, yeah, I don't want to communicate with you anymore. You already know that. So practice being yourself. And you might actually be surprised at the response you get when you just really be yourself and have your own voice. It may just disrupt somebody's old sense of structure and be that sort of wake-up call that they need. I'm feeling that with somebody current, that you've got somebody who's dealing with an old structure and they're in the midst of change. So speak up. Be in your integrity. There's no need to be mean, but speak up. Because there will be other opportunities if you're not with somebody. I feel there's opportunity coming in this sort of October to January time. And it's important to focus on this change and yourself. Because you want to be this fully whole person, attracting a whole person. And it's like needing this time to create or to be in this change of creation, this creation activation of whatever you're giving structure to, whatever you're changing in your life. It's good to take that time to do that now, because when you meet someone, you already have these structures in place. You've got this going on. And I honestly think that as you shift into something new, that some of you could be meeting this person in this new structure, or this new structure brings you to new places, new environments, new groups of people, new friends, and that's where you meet this person as well. So that's a little bit into October. Please let me know in the comments below what was helpful, what was supportive, and please, as October moves along, let me know what has happened for you and what has resonated. Please hit the like button. It would mean the world to me. I'm new on YouTube, and it just would help me and the channel out greatly. I'm here to build community. And if you're open to it and you're called, please hit the subscribe button. There's meditations on the video, on this channel. There's one up now. And there'll be some other really interesting lifestyle vlogs about meditation and healthy living and going at a much slower pace. And I'm excited to share with you. Until then, I will talk to you later. Bye. Hello, my blue herons. Let's see how the medicine of blue heron is supporting and guiding you in October. So I'm going to read a little bit to you about blue heron. We'll grab tarot, we'll grab a love bite card, and let's see what's up for the beautiful month of October. Blue heron, thank you. Sacred water bird, for sending reflections to me, the mirrors of the quest for life, the worlds that live inside of me. Show me how relationships work, with my path woven within the whole, the lessons of kinship with all of life, reflecting my spirit's eternal goal. Heron medicine is the power of knowing the self by discovering its gifts and facing its challenges. It is the ability to accept all feelings and opinions without denying any emotion or thought. Heron asks that you examine yourself with a cold eye to see what you wish to improve and how you want to change it. If you get stuck in the process, it may be a sign that you are being too hard or critical, choosing to blame others and constantly pointing a finger at life situations instead of claiming responsibility for your actions shows that you lack the courage to face the enemy within. So this is so fitting for October. It's so fitting for the season of fall, which is the season of transformation for me. And it's a time to take a moment to reflect now that we're getting close to the year's end. It's the beginning of the process of rebirth. And sometimes the process of change can be very challenging. But Blue Heron is there to remind you that there are so many gifts and talents and ideas and new perspectives, new ways of being, new ways of walking in life, ways that you can embrace your authenticity and personal truth to radically be yourself by going within and sometimes looking at some of the things that we don't like about ourselves and being gentle and compassionate and non-judgment, knowing that we always did our very best with the knowledge that we had, and being able to look at all these parts of ourselves as valid, that they are a part of what make you a whole person. So it's not about getting rid of something or being upset with ourselves. It's coming to a place of acceptance and then deciding what the next action steps are. What support do I need to get there? Let's see what other themes are coming up for October. Control. So giving up control, right? And this could be like the I'm right. It's one of those things where it's like, even when you're right, do you want to be right or do you want to be at peace? So it's true transformation can't happen when we're loaded up with the old and the old stories. We can't make room for the new. It's like when your computer just has too much stuff on it and it's not functioning anymore. You have to decide what you're going to delete. What do you want to delete? What needs to be deleted? It's like a grand sort of detox, a grand time of cleaning. And this card can also be card of control, is giving up control where needed, but also where do you need to take control? Where do you need to really be active in your own life? Where do you need to take self-responsibility for getting it done? For not just saying it and having the idea, but implementing it. So where are these places? This is a time to think about it and a time to discover what our next moves are going to be and how do we get real with ourselves in order to make the next evolution of who we are happen. Two of Cups. Relationships. That's so cool. Here when I read the poem, show me how relationships work, my path woven within the whole. So where do you fit in the communities of your life? How are you part of everything? This goes to the we are one. You are part of a collective. but you are an individual with uniqueness moving throughout this collective. So maybe you have felt separate, alienated, like you don't belong, like being yourself just doesn't cut it. Maybe you need to find rebels, misfits to roll with. Finding your tribe, finding partnership. How do you want to live in partnership now? Are there friendships that aren't working anymore? Or it can be very difficult when we've had relationships with people and it shifts and we want to blame ourselves or blame them, right? And it's really nobody's fault. It's just what happened. It's just what is. And often when relationships of any kind shifted, it's not personal. It's really about what somebody else is going through. And it can be difficult if someone decides we're not on their vibe anymore. But were you really on their vibe to begin with? Or was it something that you were like a puzzle piece that didn't have a place in the puzzle? Or maybe it once had a place in the puzzle, but people just shift. And sometimes people's values shift, your values shift, and they don't match up. If someone's behaving or communicating in a way that doesn't make you feel very good. Is it about being compromising all the time? Can't something just be easy and in flow? Because disruption will always happen in relationship. Things will always come up. People will always go through things. Life will always happen. But can you be like the waves of the ocean about it? I want to say this is romantic partnership coming in as well, if that's what you're looking for. After you're going through a place of looking at yourself, looking at, well, what mistakes did I make when I didn't know any better? Or what was my knowledge base giving me at the time that I made these decisions or decided to put up with that? Or maybe something was fun for a period of time and then just wasn't fun anymore. Maybe someone wanted to grow something with you and that you didn't, you don't want to grow in that field. I need to weed myself out of this person's life. This is something coming in that is based in reciprocity. Two whole people that do work on themselves. Like you can't give a full cup if you don't have it and vice versa. And when you go through this process, when you're willing to get real with yourself, when you're willing to do the work, it's difficult to not be with someone who doesn't do the work. So this is being with someone that does the work, or perhaps someone that is on your mind. You're not quite sure, are they doing the work? Are they willing to do the work? And this could be that after a process, they are willing to do the work on themselves, or they could be in a process now that you're completely unaware of. But either way, if something needs to go, you are calling in the people that are not sitting around blaming other people, not blaming the work environment, not blaming how they grew up. This was my childhood. I'm stuck in the patterns that my parents or society gave me. This is someone that's, who am I? What do I need? Okay, so we have death, and death was in the first reading, pile number 1 with crow. So this might be a sign that you might want to check that out too, because there might be some messages for you. But I'm going to pull another card. But this is the death of you not taking responsibility for yourself and your own choices. This is you embracing a transformation where you're able to move on because you've recognized the lessons. This is a completion of a cycle that happens before a major transformation of you understanding the truth about your own personal needs. This could also be in partnership transformation, like, okay, this either needs to transform to the next place or it's not going anywhere. And it feels like somebody wants control because of whatever has transpired in their life, whatever they feel their little deaths were, their breakups, their losses. And so there's a certain amount of control they're trying to take on their emotions. This could be your boss as well, a friend. but someone is, for their own personal safety, they feel like they want to keep their heart safe, their sanity. Someone feels, I let myself get so insane before, and they're going through something with that. And this is partnership. This is somebody wanting to come from a whole place. This is someone wanting to figure out how to give up control. Is it possible to give up control? And on your end, it is about the taking of the control of this is what I want. And I'm not afraid to say it. I'm moving through this world. I am not separate. I am a part of a collective of creators. And that's what I'm calling into my life. And with the Hermit, it is deep self-reflection. But you have to know that whenever you go deeply into your own personal self-reflection, there's always a light there. There's always a light somewhere that's guiding you, even if it's the light of your heart. This is also the light coming down on things that have been hidden about yourself. What have you not been looking at? What is a little bit too ugly? This also feels like you personally have been doing a lot of work and you've been seeing a lot of things and a lot of stuff has been coming up and out. And through the month of October, it's at this peak where you feel like everything is like excavating in the cave, like everything, like the light is being shown into the crevice and the deepest and the darkest. It's, that. But it's good because it's like you're facing it. You know? And you want to be with somebody who's willing to face it. And there is this question, can this person face it? And I feel like in the month of October, you're going to know if this person is willing to face it, because their desire for partnership with you, and again, please move this energy into work, friendship, family, even though I'm talking more romance here, take your own intuition, take your own life and insert as your own intuition and validations are coming through. But this is somebody who really wants something different with you. Like they want it, whether you know everything or not. Somebody wants to exchange in reciprocity. They want to feel accepted for their own for themselves. And perhaps you've brought them a sense of comfort. You've sparked something with them. You've sparked a light. And now it's in the month of October, it's coming to, okay, is this going to move forward? Can this person do this? A love reading before I even get to my love bite. Oh, the Tower. So this is anything that isn't in alignment with your self-worth. So whatever it is that is truly not working, in the month of October, it might feel like what I call like the divine disruption. Or perhaps you're going through that, you've been through this divine disruption already. It's been going on and it's down. There is the lightning bolt of insight, the reflections, the downloads. This is sacred fire burning away all which does not serve anymore in your life. And those around you will feel that. They'll feel it energetically. They're just going to know the moment you open your mouth. And this sort of transformation can initiate other people's transformations. That's how it works when people are connected. And so don't be afraid if this is like not in alignment with you, just to let it go. Because it's going to go anyway. And the resistance of it makes it worse. And balance with the Chariot. This is awesome. This is reconciling duality of your life. This is intertwining the dark and the light of everything that you've been through and accepting that as a part of the wholeness that you give to the world. And sometimes with this Chariot, it can get out of control because it's racing around the track. It can feel like it's spinning out of control. You can lose control sometimes. Sometimes you need to allow things to be out of control, or things get out of control right before the breakthrough happens. Right before the big learning happens. Right before the massive metamorphosis happens. Oh, I have a flyer. We have two. Oh my God, we have three, so we have to take them. Ace of Cups. I want to say this is self-love. This is filling your own cup. Yes, this is giving yourself, through taking self-responsibility, through self-reflection, giving yourself a whole new way of being, giving a new way of falling in love with yourself. This is after everything falls away, that you have, there's all this crap. See, it's almost like the top of this feels like that cup. It's like that same shape, and I am just like, throw it out, getting rid of it. But what's left is angelic. What's left is what's needed. What's left is the seeds of which you build the new upon. But yes, I wouldn't be surprised if someone that you're not sure about is either coming back around, or they've been going through some deep processes. They have felt out of control. They're deciding, where do I have to take control in my life? I'm letting things transform. What's dead is dead. Can I ride off into my own sunset by myself and be good? Being self-sufficient, not being afraid to go through the fire that is required to rise again, to sit in the ashes of what's gone, to sit in it as the seed of new growth, and to reroot myself with all the wisdom and knowledge that I'm taking with me as I begin to create something new, right? So this could be, but as you go through this, they go through this in their own way. And the Queen of Pentacles, she is rooted. She has been the seedling and gone through this process, and at the end of this process is sitting in a place where you can manifest what it is you're looking for in life, and it's tangible and it's real, and you can touch it, and you can add to it, and you can take away from it, and you can adjust it. There's always fertility. There's always creation activation, and the earth has your back. Ground into the earth. This card is so green. This feels heart and earth, and heart and earth. So take this time as you go through this process to really, it's like taking what's in your heart and planting it into the earth so you can nurture it and it can grow. Beautiful. Let's look more specifically with my little love bite. Got a lot of love here in this reading already, so it should be easy to expand this. All right, photography, looking at this is about the past. This is about what can be, focusing too much on what was. It's like when we have a moment with someone and it's so delicious and amazing and fabulous, and we just cling on to it, even though things have shifted and changed. It's like, yeah, but I know that it was so delicious, and I know that there's this potential, but it's like you have to look at what's just empty potential. Sometimes we have to just take the moment for what it was and enjoy it. And it wasn't fake. That moment of intimacy and deliciousness and love and caring and connectiveness was absolutely real. You did not make it up. But everything in life progresses and it builds upon each other. It should build. And if it's not building, then you have to know that too. But the person that I've been talking about in this reading, they could be looking at and reevaluating their past relationships and childhood stuff and how that affected their relationships. And what's important here in the make new memories we have here at the bottom, you don't want to, you can acknowledge the moment, but it's always about being present and creating new moments, new present moments, and what's right for you. October, there's something about this person with October and seeing what's really up with it. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's some stuff going on that you don't know, and there could be new growth. And you'll know that if that's you. Thank you. Have a beautiful month. Please give me a thumbs up. It would mean the world to me. If you are called and interested, please join the community and hit the subscribe button. I have meditations on here, and there's all kinds of cool things coming up. And let me know what other kind of readings that you would like to have. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, Moose Tribe. Moose is self-esteem medicine. That is fantastic for October. I'm going to read to you a little bit about Moose, and then we'll talk. We'll get some tarot going, and we'll see what's up for October. Moose. Help me to honor the gifts I can give and recognize my worthiness long as I live. Moose medicine people have the ability to know when to use gentleness of the deer and when to activate the stampede of buffalo. They understand the balance between giving orders to get things done and having a willingness to do things themselves. The wisdom of moose medicine is akin to the Godfather warrior. Wow. So perhaps you're coming into your self-esteem after a cycle of going through some stuff in life that has forced you to come into your self-esteem. That there has been enough disruption of the old patterns to get you to reevaluate how you feel about your own sense of worth and what you value. You've really had to come to a place of clarity and focus on what you value. And that could be different than what it was in the past. When we begin to value ourselves more, have self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence, it's interesting how that changes the dynamic in some of our relationships. I think the people that we want to have in our lives moving forward embrace that about us. And they embrace all of our stuff. Let's get a little more information here. What else? What are the other themes for October? Self-esteem, schizophrenia. I think this is I think that this is what got you to this place of looking at your self-esteem. Maybe you were driving yourself crazy. What's that definition of insanity where you do the same thing over and over again, expecting the same result, when you never got the result you wanted from it to begin with? Sometimes we look at how we felt about certain people or situations and we're like, God, that was insane, that situation I put myself through. Or that was insane how I nitpicked at myself and I blamed myself and I took on other people's personal bullshit. And I put it on all myself. And sometimes when we do that to ourselves enough, we have a breaking point. And when we break through, we have this new sense of self-worth, of self-esteem. And that's what you're taking into October. I don't believe that you're going through this process. Maybe there's something finishing up about it right now or in the beginning of October, but I feel like you've broken through. Moose, they are the state animal of Maine. And I'm mentioning this because I grew up in Maine. I was born in New York and raised in New York and in Maine. And the thing about Mainers is that they are themselves. It's like they're the maniacs and they're proud of it. And they are just their unique selves. They're raw and real. They embrace their quirkiness. And that's, I think that there's something in this reading where you need to know that you're embracing it. If you haven't quite embraced it already, you're at that place. And this is your sign to just embrace it, because that's what's going to bring you to the next place of life. As we come into October and we're moving through the end of the year, that reevaluation process is happening where the fall, things are falling. We are letting go of, we are surrendering to what needs to be relinquished so that we can make room for what we want to bring in. It's impossible to pack things in. You can't like pack in what you want when there's all this old baggage packed with the crap. It's like keeping around clothes that you just don't wear anymore. How sentimental about a certain sweater can you really get? Or just, I almost feel like I see some of you just cleaning out your closets, cleaning out your houses, and this sort of like physical cleanse of your space and environment. Maybe it's cleaning out your desk at work. That can also be a springboard to cleaning out the deeper things, the more internal things, like those old stories, those old behaviors, though recognizing in people what no longer serves you. Very cool. What else? The Three of Pentacles, because you're building something else. My first tarot teacher always called this the card of going public. So it's like you're building something with other people. Like, I think you're done with this place of feeling isolated and alienated. Maybe you've felt that way in the past. You felt like being yourself wasn't enough for a certain crowd or a certain situation, and you've gotten over it. Now you just want to go public with yourself. Like you're speaking out. You're getting your ideas out there. Maybe you don't know 100% what the next moves are, but you're finding out by doing and by speaking to other people that are on the same vibe as you are. Speaking to people that maybe are further along the path than you in certain places in your life. Maybe you have friends that have fantastic relationships, and it's like you want to hang around that medicine and bring in what they have. And that's embracing what other people have as well and not being jealous of it. To take yourself out. And it's something that's coming into union of the self. What you have been building within yourself is who you were, and what you want to be is like forming the new. There's something like, I'm not where I want to go, I'm not where I was, but in this presence of who I am now, I am creating, and I'm not worried about the past, and I'm not worried about the future. I'm standing in the present in my wholeness and engaging with life. I'm not calling myself crazy. My ideas are not crazy, they're valid. You know where you want to go and what you want to do. Something's been tugging at your heart, pulling at your soul. You have ideas and they won't go away. It's that way for a reason. They won't go away because you are being called to engage with them, to creation activation. And this could be a new business you're creating. This could be new communities that you want to engage in. This could be a new type of romantic relationship. This could just be like a new way of living your life. I don't want to live life this way anymore. I want to start baby stepping into a new way of being, a new way of living every single day, where I'm me. And these are my quirks, and this is what I need. And I know that may seem weird to other people, but this is like offering yourself the cup. And it's something new. It's something fresh. It's like playing like a child. It's going back to what sparked you when you were younger. What brings you joy? What brings your heart happiness? And how can that be integrated into all the areas of your life as much as possible? This is being around people that have something to offer you. And it's meeting people and you're getting to know other people. You're getting to know somebody. And you're letting it be fun. This could be feeling a little bit like emotionally young. I feel like a little bit of that neediness of a child. But if like you're feeling needy, then ask yourself what those needs are. You might want to ask yourself, what did I need as a child that I didn't get? What validation? What permissions? And give them to yourself now as an adult, because that's attractive. That's sexy. That attracts what you want to bring in. And to let things be young and fresh, and to not worry about where is this going the moment you meet somebody or you start a new venture. Let it be fresh. Let it be young. Don't skip out on the phases. Don't skip out on the process. You can't jump the process. You have to be in it exactly where you are. It just creates craziness and madness when you try to jump before you're ready. There's such a growth process, and there's so much learning and wisdom and healing to be gained in going through all the cycles of something, of a relationship, of a business, of embracing a new way of how you want to walk in the world, of how you want to have routines in your life. This card showed up in pile number 2, the blue heron, so this might be a sign that you might want to check that reading out as well. There could be some messages there for you. It's reevaluation. It's embracing what you already have created and adding to it. It's like, I appreciate all of that, and this is the next thing I'm building. And reciprocity. Things cannot be unbalanced. So it goes in all the directions. Are you being reciprocal with yourself? Are you being giving to yourself? Are you giving so much more to everything else and everybody else in your life that you feel bankrupt, that everything is uneven, that you feel like things are unjust? Like you're like, they're doing that to me, when really maybe deep down you're letting them, or you're in a pattern or an old story where you feel in order to have safety and security, you need to just constantly give to other people, or let them take the glory, or let them have the voice. Let them be the ones who are going public. If you're doing that to yourself, just sit and acknowledge and sit with that and have that self-awareness around it, because even just that self-awareness like breaks the spell. This could also be, maybe you've had I'm feeling romantic partner that was like over giving to the point where it was like they feel they could win you, or they could buy you, or they could be emotionally not available, or not giving emotionally, or there's like the spiritual intellectual connection, but they're constantly taking you out to great places, but you still feel bankrupt emotionally. And that's not what you want. It's reciprocity. I'm going to do, 2 fell out. Because you're building a legacy. 3 fell out. Okay. You're building a legacy with the 10 of Pentacles. You're like, what do I want to leave behind? Like if I left the earth today, what do I want to be known for? But what am I leaving behind? What am I creating? And this is creating family. The family that fits you in your life right now. Feeling like I am deserving to feel satisfied in every area of my life. I can look back and I can appreciate everything I've been through, the good, the bad, the ugly, have everything I've been. And knowing that you're not traveling this path alone, you're building with others. With the Queen of Wands, this is the creation activator. And this is sexy. This energy, this person is that deep creation energy that comes from, because sexual energy is deep creative energy. It's root. It's not afraid to be outspoken. It goes for what it wants. It's not sorry in all the best ways. because you're done being contemplative. You've sat around enough. You've maybe needed rest recently. You needed a lot of self-care recently. You were looking and evaluating and having a bit of anxiety and these thoughts going over and over in your mind and replaying the story and doing it to yourself. And at one point, after you've done this amount of evaluation and this amount of going through your head over and over again, and you realize, I'm doing this to myself. And maybe this here right now is, oh my God, I'm doing this to me. You are doing this to yourself. And it's okay, we all do it. Because you got this going on underneath. You're powerful, you're creative. You are seen. You've got the deep fires of the earth within you to detoxify, clarify, burn away what is no longer working, to rebirth, to rise again in your glory, in your highest self, after everything that you've been through, embracing the past, embracing your ancestry, perhaps too. Whatever has to be cleared out from the ancestral trauma. And you rise again in this beauty. That's October for you, because October, that's that, I always feel it's that intense initiatory month into, it really calls for transformation. And by surrender, just surrendering what no longer gives. Surrendering, sitting there in the pile of ashes. Knowing that you are the seed to this flower. And the sun will rise again after this experience. And you are ready. So let's attune this a little bit to a love bite. This little love bite. How is this affecting the romantic? Someone that's on your mind, perhaps. Well, seduction, of course. It's embracing that you are attractive. Embracing your sexuality, embracing the sensuality of life. And how are you bringing that sensuality into your everyday life and the way that you move? Maybe you want to bring more, maybe you want to start cooking for yourself. Maybe you want to throw out some old clothes and get a new wardrobe that expresses yourself now. Maybe you've lost a bunch of weight, or you've really gotten healthy and you want to wear different clothes because that helps you express that new way of being. Sometimes when we do things like that, it can help us with that transformation, getting a new haircut. You're going on a vacation. Indulging. This is allowing yourself to indulge. And get out there and be your attractive self. Regardless of what's happened or what the rejections have been, you are attractive. And in this new place, you're attracting a new kind of person. So getting out there and dating, don't be afraid to have fun. Think about it as just, I'm going to go out and I'm going to have fun. And I'm not going to worry. Whatever, you've learned enough to know. But this is, you also might be surprised if you just let yourself go and have a little bit of fun, what might grow from that, or what might come out of just having fun. But you are seductive, baby. You got to know there are people out there that really desire you. Maybe you're unaware of some of them, or you're not looking at some of them because they're not your type or whatever. But you might, in the month of October, you might be surprised at who comes up or who you're attracted to. This is also like you getting attracted maybe to someone that you liked as a person, but you're like, no, I'm not romantic. You might be looking at somebody in a different way. You might find yourself really attracted. And like to somebody that's either a little bit different from what you normally go for, or somebody who's in your life that you didn't think they were a friend, or there's going to be some hot stuff going on. All right. I love you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Please give me a thumbs up. It would really help the channel out a lot. If you are feeling called and want a little bit more, please subscribe. I am trying to build a beautiful community here of souls that just want to support each other in this unwinding spiral of life. There's meditations on the channel. There'll be more coming. other cool things, and I would love it if you would join the ride. Until next time, bye.